What did I do to deserve you?
New episodes return CBS Thursday and streaming on Paramount Plus.
What? Tranquility will rule as we head on through the balance of tonight and probably into the early part of the weekend. I'll have more weather details coming up.
Good evening, everyone. I'm John Truitt. Tonight on your WZMQ 19 News, Wall Street rebounds as some of Trump's tariffs are put on hold. However, China's steep tariffs are still in place. Fear mounts as over 600 measles cases have now been reported in the United States. We'll hear from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on how the Trump administration is responding. And the UP health system has a change in management. We'll hear who's in charge now. Your 19 News at 11 starts now.
Live from the UP, this is WZMQ 19 News at 11.
Hello, everyone. Meteorologist Tom DeVecchio here. We do have some fairly decent weather for a lot of clouds to start out the day. Maybe a peak of sunshine, but generally mostly cloudy for the rest of the day. And we can't rule out maybe a few showers popping up later in the day as well. But we will break that 40-degree mark by the afternoon on Thursday. In fact, most of you will. Mid and maybe even upper 40s along the Wisconsin border. As mentioned, maybe a few showers popping up late in the day. Rest of the forecast later in the show.
After days of insisting his tariffs would not be lifted, President Trump reversed course, placing a pause on tariffs for all but one nation and prompting Wall Street to respond with yet another historic day. Erica Roberts reports from Washington.
Wall Street came roaring back Wednesday, the Dow up more than 2,900 points in its biggest one-day gain since 2008, after President Trump announced a 90-day pause on his reciprocal tariffs for all nations except China. The president said more than 70 countries want to engage in negotiations for trade deals with the U.S.
Somebody had to do what we did, and I did a 90-day pause for the people that didn't retaliate, because I told them if you retaliate, we're going to double it. And that's what I did with China, because they did retaliate.
The president further hiked tariffs on Chinese imports, pushing them to 125% after Beijing raised its retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods to 84%. Still, the president insists he believes China wants to reach an agreement with the U.S. While Wall Street responded favorably to the president's latest tariff announcements, some lawmakers remain skeptical about the strategy.
Donald Trump is feeling the heat from Democrats and across America about how bad these tariffs are. He is reeling, he is retreating, and that is a good thing.
The president also signed executive orders Wednesday aimed at restoring business competition and repealing federal regulations that limit household water pressure.
In my case, I like to take a nice shower to take care of my beautiful hair. And I have to stand under the shower for 15 minutes till it gets wet. It comes out drip, drip, drip. It's ridiculous.
The order says it intends to, quote, make America's showers great again.
It's unclear what will happen after the 90 days are over, all while countries negotiate with the Trump administration. The Trump administration's crackdown on immigration is even making some legal residents concerned about international travel. In the past several weeks, videos have gone viral on social media describing scary encounters at U.S. airports, with some travelers claiming they were harassed or detained at U.S. Customs. Now, people online have been advising each other to remove Face ID and delete social media apps before traveling here. CBS News spoke to an immigration lawyer to get her advice on what to do.
This amendment protects everyone who is within the United States. It's more complicated at ports of entry, at airports, where your electronic devices may be searched by Customs and Border Protection officers, especially if you are a non-citizen. This is why it may be important for non-citizens to consider what is on their electronic devices, their laptops, their phones, before entering the United States. And folks should consider what they're posting on social media and whether or not it may pose problems when they're trying to re-enter the country.
Mukherjee indicated those who are concerned about re-entry should consider what they post and what political content they have saved on their phone. She suggests those who still have concerns consult with an immigration lawyer or an organization focused on immigrant rights. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has given his first network television interview since becoming health secretary. They talked about, among other things, the impact of cutting thousands of jobs at federal health agencies and the high cost of some of the most popular prescription drugs.
None of them have any ingredients that you can't read.
We joined the secretary at a Native American food program near Phoenix and asked him about the Trump administration's decision last week to cancel expanded coverage plans for popular weight loss drugs such as Wegovy. They're known collectively as GLP-1s.
GLP agonists, which are extraordinary drugs,
Aren't they?
are available to anybody who's got diabetes.
But obesity.
We're looking at a regulatory framework for making it available to people under insurance. It will be available to anybody who wants to pay for it. We are reducing the cost. We're going to reduce the cost.
Will Medicaid and Medicare cover it?
Well, they want. Let me finish in telling you what our kind of blueprint is. Ideally, over the long term, we'd like to see that those drugs available for people after they try other interventions. And if they don't work, then you would be entitled to the drug.
So if that doesn't work and a caregiver, a health care provider says, you know what, give it a good try, Medicare and Medicaid will cover the GLP-1.
That is the framework that we're now debating.
Part of the debate includes figuring out where to make cuts to save money. You propose more than $11 billion in cuts to local and state programs addressing things like infectious disease, mental health, addiction, and childhood vaccination. Did you personally approve those cuts?
No, I'm not familiar with those cuts. We'd have to go. We'd have to go.
There's like more than 50 pages of cuts that I actually went through.
The cuts were mainly DEI cuts, which the president.
There were a lot, but I'll give you, for example, about $750,000 of a University of Michigan grant into adolescent diabetes was cut. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, and that's something that we'll look at.
The latest measles outbreak in the country has now topped 600 cases, including the first cases reported in Hawaii. Most of them have been in Texas, where 2 unvaccinated children have died. RFK Jr. says he is encouraging people to get vaccinated against measles, a change of heart for Kennedy, who once wrote that measles vaccines are unnecessary and risky.
Saying that, what's the position philosophically of the federal government in terms of public health?
The federal government's position, my position is people should get the measles vaccine, but the government should not be mandating
Understand.
those. You know what I've always said during my campaign and every public statement I've made, I'm not going to take people's vaccines away from them. Right. What I'm going to do is make sure that we have good science so that people can make an informed choice. Doing that science today, so that we know
the current measles cases span across 23 states. CEO of Ishpeming's Bell UP Health System has announced his retirement, leading both Marquette County UP Health Systems to work under a new structure of leadership. Mitch LeKelt has served for more than 11 years as Chief Executive Officer of UP Health System Bell in Ishpeming. Following his departure, CEO of Marquette's location, Tanya Darner, will be promoted to CEO of both hospitals. Allison Sundberg will also assume a new leadership role as Chief Operating Officer at Bell, leading day-to-day operations. LeKelt's retirement is set for June 1st. Tom DeVecchio has your first warning weather forecast when we come back. Plus, we'll have the latest on the nightclub roof collapse that killed hundreds of people. And new research is giving health professionals a better idea on how to treat concussions. We'll have the details when we come back.
The wait is over. England Furniture's quick shipping is back at Kirkish Furniture. Choose your style and fabric and receive your furniture in as little as 30 days. Browse our in-stock selection or let our staff help you customize the perfect sofa or chair. Plus, 1 year free financing and free delivery.
John's Auto is quickly becoming everybody's favorite place to get their car fixed. John's Auto is quickly becoming everybody's favorite place to fix their car. Was that right? For a better service experience, come to John's Auto Market. Why do I keep forgetting that word? Experience. Okay, go. For a better service experience, come to John's Auto Market.
And don't forget,
Closed captioning sponsored by Range Bank of Upper Michigan.
Our child has autism. He doesn't usually elope, but one day he did, and it was the most terrifying moment of our lives.
If I didn't have a home security system, I would have realized way too late he's gone. He could have drowned or been hit by a car.
We couldn't imagine life without our son. We cannot emphasize enough the importance of having secure doors for our family.
For my child, I co-founded Spectrum 360 Foundation, a nonprofit aiming to support individuals with autism and their families. We have partnered up with Vivint Home Security to bring safety to families like ours. It can truly save lives.
Call 800-895-8120 for free installation and incredibly low monthly monitoring plans. Every family will receive a free doorbell camera with a new plan. Don't wait. Your child's safety is everything.
This is home for CBS, WZMQ 19.
Now, WZMQ TV 19 First Warning Weather with meteorologist Tom DeVecchio.
Checking out the headlines for Marquette once again. Tranquility ruling here. Temperatures slowly but steadily going up, particularly as we head on through the weekend, and precipitation will be kept to a minimum as well, at least into Saturday. Saturday looks like a real nice day. If you have any early look at your weekend plans outdoors, Saturday seems to be the day. Sunday, hardly a washout, but we're expecting the possibility of a few more showers as we head on towards Sunday. As kids go to school for tomorrow, though, not as cold. Temperatures close to that 30-degree mark when they go to school under generally mostly cloudy skies. Cool and dry when they go home in the afternoon. Temperatures breaking that 40-degree mark, so no heavy coat, hat, gloves type of thing here. Can't rule out maybe squeezing out a drop of rain or so, but nothing big time here, nothing that you would need the raincoat. Winds, in fact, will be pretty steady on Thursday. Notice this kind of look here, this clockwise look, that tells me there's a high pressure nearby here. That should keep the rain at bay for the most part. And again, winds generally less than 10 miles an hour. And we'll keep things light for Thursday night. That trend will continue into the day on Friday. Certainly some good news there. No strong winds, no cold, bitter hits here. As we go through the balance of tonight, clouds hanging tough pretty much most of tomorrow. You saw maybe some brief clearing in the afternoon, or I should say more holes in the clouds. Futurecast wants to squeeze out a few showers here for Thursday, around the supper hour here. Not real bullish on that. Most should stay off toward the west for the most part, and they quickly diminish here. I wouldn't be surprised if it stays dry. And Friday, again, squeezing out a few early flakes here, but in the grand scheme of things, nothing to write home about. Sun comes out for Friday afternoon, setting up some decent weather for Friday itself, and that trend will continue into the day on Saturdays. For the balance of tonight, a lot of clouds around, temperatures, most of you close to that freezing mark, a few upper 20s, Sault Ste. Marie a little colder there, lows around 25 degrees. And temperatures tomorrow getting into the lower to mid 40s for the most part. A little sun may be coming out later in the day, but there is a chance of maybe squeezing out a few drops of rain for later on Thursday and into Thursday evening. Then for Friday, looking good, partly sunny, mid 40s. Beautiful day for Saturday, mid 50s. Looks partly sunny, mild, and just a chance of a few scattered showers on Sunday. Again, hardly a washout, a couple of drops as we head into Monday.
Thanks, Tom. Frustration is growing in the Dominican Republic as dozens of families await word on whether their loved ones were missing or killed in that massive nightclub roof collapse. Christian Benavides reports from Santo Domingo.
With rescue crews racing against time, there's heartbreak outside the Jet Set nightclub in the Dominican Republic, where hundreds of people have descended looking for their loved ones. In this video posted online, screams can be heard as the room goes dark. A woman in Spanish then asks if her father is okay.
We have no idea where he's been, how he is. I think he's still in there.
Tomorrow is Shailene Peña's birthday. Her father, Máximo Peña, is missing. He sent her this video of the merengue singer Ruby Perez on stage at the nightclub just minutes prior to the collapse.
Well, my dad is my hero. Like, I can't live without him. Sorry. He was really important to me, and I'm not prepared for anything that isn't hugging him right now.
Her stepmom, aunt, and cousins are all missing, presumed to be underneath the rubble. Officials say they do not yet know what caused the collapse that took more than 120 lives, including former MLB players Octavio Dotel and Tony Blanco. Dotel started his career with the New York Mets in 1999.
We always keep hope. That's what keeps us searching and rescue.
Victor Atala is the Minister of Health in the Dominican Republic. His agency is in charge of grief counselors and medical professionals standing by.
The rescue had to be done with extreme caution because there's a lot of material on top of the people. We couldn't, dig as much as possible.
Rescue crews are working in the brutal heat. They've spent hours searching through the rubble of the building, trying to get any survivors that may still be alive.
The standard of care could be changing when it comes to treating a child with a concussion. Dania Bacchus shows us why some doctors are encouraging patients to return to normal routines sooner rather than later.
High school senior Aishwarya is an athlete, captain of the basketball team, plays flag football, lacrosse, and runs track.
I don't quite remember the moment of the collision, but I remember the aftermath pretty clearly.
She suffered 2 concussions in 5 days, the worst when she collided with another football player.
The second I stood up, my head was still hurting, the lights were really bright. I was sensitive to the noise in the stadium.
Nearly 2 million young athletes experience concussions each year. Aishwarya was initially told to rest in a dark room with minimal physical and mental activity. Outdated guidance, according to sports medicine specialist Dr. Jonathan Santana.
After about 48 hours, we do want them getting back into their activities of daily living. So that usually includes going to school. And that's probably the hardest thing for many of these kids to do because school can be the most demanding on the brain.
Children's Hospital Los Angeles is one of 6 hospitals nationwide studying what factors impact quality of life or predict how long concussion symptoms will last for student athletes.
Those that get back into daily activities and activities of daily living tend to have better outcomes.
Recent studies show the longer kids stay out of school after a concussion, the harder the recovery. Dr. Santana says giving them a modified workload, extra time to turn in assignments, and light aerobic activity like walking is key.
He told me you can't limit yourself, you have to go back to your life. You have to build your confidence up again.
Aishwarya says her recovery took off after seeing Dr. Santana. She was cleared to return to sports after 3 months and recently played in her league's All-Star game.
Research also shows kids with concussion symptoms lasting longer than 28 days are more likely to have anxiety and depression. Still to come on your 19 News, we'll hear more from the Michigan DNR on how you can keep your oak trees safe this spring. We'll be right back.
Buckles Party Store. It's where the party starts in Calumet with an awesome beer selection featuring domestic, foreign, and craft brew beer, a great selection of wine, just about any kind of liquor you want, and a great range of tobacco products. Buckles Party Store in Calumet. It's where the party starts for everyone.
How much longer? Relax. I can't. This online betting thing is getting out of control. Come on, we're having fun. But we need to pay rent, buy books, groceries. Blah, blah, blah. They're called priorities for a reason. We'll get to those things. Maybe. This isn't gonna end well.
Don't regret the bet. For tips that will help you play it smart, go to don'tregretthebet.org. A message from the Michigan Gaming Control Board.
For more than 30 years, our community has come through, building affordable homes, making critical repairs, and building ramps for those who need a little help and a little hope. Habitat for Humanity volunteers produce amazing results treasured forever. You could be our next hero. Volunteers are needed to provide affordable housing in Marquette County. Join in. Sign up. It's easy. Go to UpersUnited.com or use the QR code shown here. A public service message of Habitat for Humanity and WZMQ TV 19.
Meet Gomer Pyle, musical Marie.
Weeknights at 9:30 on MeTV 19.1.
Running my business, I'm always worried about managing logistics. The last thing I want to be concerned about is our banking. That's why I use First Bank. They make it all about me.
You're watching WZMQ 19 News, live and local, with John Truitt.
President Donald Trump's tariffs on imports have caused an economic shakeup, but it's not stopping shoppers from spending this Easter holiday. Jen Sullivan looks at how much your celebration could cost.
Easter spending is expected to soar this year despite a lot of economic uncertainty.
Consumers are expecting to really go out for Easter this year.
The National Retail Federation estimates consumers will shell out more than $23 billion this year, with people spending around $189 per person on average. That's up $12 from last year. Catherine Cullen from the National Retail Federation says even though some items are more expensive due to inflation, it's not holding people back from shopping.
Through all of these tumultuous times, consumers have been very protective of these holidays.
According to the NRF's recent survey, consumers will spend the most on candy and food. Nothing says Easter like an egg-stravaganza.
Easter is our highest consumption period of the entire year.
Emily Metz with the American Egg Board says Americans are expected to eat or decorate 3 billion eggs this spring season. The good news is egg prices have come down in the last few weeks, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Metz says fewer avian flu cases have helped stabilize prices, but they're still much higher than this time last year.
That has made a significant impact. It's allowing our system to recover.
So how can shoppers save this holiday?
Certainly think about which decorations you can reuse from last year, whether or not you can encourage people to participate in a potluck.
Colin also recommends painting wooden eggs instead of real ones.
The Michigan DNR is asking for the public's help in stopping the spread of oak wilt. We spoke with the DNR about what to look for and how to defend against this tree-killing disease. Oak wilt is a devastating fungal infection that affects oak trees that have sustained a wound of some kind. A wound can be a broken limb, the result of trauma from cars or other things that damage the bark. DNR forest pathologist Simeon Wright explains how serious oak wilt is.
Oak wilt is an aggressive fungal disease that kills oak trees, and it is easily spread when healthy oak trees are wounded in the spring.
The main message from the DNR is to not prune your oak trees between April 15th and July 15th. This is when the trees are growing and more susceptible to oak wilt.
Any wound that gets down below the bark into the wood of an oak tree during that time frame is a risk for oak wilt infection.
Oak wilt is spread by beetles that seek out the fungus produced when an injured tree is infected. The beetles then travel to healthy trees, and if they find a wound of any kind, that healthy tree is now infected. Within 6 weeks, all the infected trees will begin to die.
They are attracted to the oak wilt fungus that kills oak trees. They pick up that fungus and then are attracted to wounds on healthy oak trees in the springtime.
The DNR has an interactive map that shows current infections as well as a way to report trees suspected of having oak wilt. If you think your oak trees are infected, it's best to report it to the DNR. They can often suggest ways to keep the rest of your trees safe from this deadly fungus. Millions of tulips are almost ready to blossom down in Holland, Michigan. May 2nd through the 11th, the city will welcome over 600,000 visitors. The week will be full of Dutch dance performances, guided tulip tours, and artisans markets for guests to browse. Over 1,000 volunteers have helped with festival planning and tulip planting. While it's still too cold for the flowers to blossom, the city expects the 90 different varieties to be ready by next month.
People come from all over to see the tulips. We have over 1,000 volunteers that help us host all these people that come. Last year we had 600,000 people in our community of 35,000 for 10 days.
There is a list of events and more information about next month's Tulip Time Festival on our website, WZMQ19.com. Next week, the Copper Shores Community Health Foundation is once again holding their puppy parade. Our own Kevin Hodge sat down with one of their victim advocates to hear how it's benefiting them. Here's a snippet of that conversation.
I understand there is an annual puppy parade coming up next week. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. So we have our 5th annual puppy parade coming up next week, and this is our Paws for a Cause puppy parade. It's one of our favorite events of the year. It's really just a fun, family-friendly event to go and walk through downtown Hancock and go through the city and see the signs and the artwork that's put up in honor of our sexual assault victims and in support of them. Now, we usually kick things off with a short speech and just a bunch of information in the form of a resource fair with a bunch of community partners that are there giving out resources and showing their support for our sexual assault survivors and in response to raising awareness.
Sure, and just how big of a day is this for you guys, and just what is the ultimate goal of the event?
Absolutely, and this is one of the culminations of our April. April as a whole is our Sexual Assault Awareness Month. We have a bunch of events throughout the month that we do and show our support and raise awareness for sexual assault, and this is sort of our culminating activity. And really our main goal of this event is really just to bring families together and enjoy what we're really hoping to be a nice, warm spring day that we don't get too often here in the Copper Country, and really just raise awareness and show our support, not only for our community members that have struggled through sexual assault, but just as a community as a whole. We want to show our support and raise awareness for this important topic and help people understand the statistics and the facts around it and how to prevent it.
Sure, absolutely, and I'm hoping the weather gets a little warmer as well. Let's hope so.
Absolutely.
Victim support, victim support is raising money for a therapy dog as well. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, we absolutely are. We're currently raising funds to bring a therapy dog to victim support and our Houghton Keweenaw Child Advocacy Center team. Now, our goal is to eventually get to where we have a trained therapy dog that can sit with our survivors, especially our kiddos that we have coming through the CAC and victim support, while they're going through not only interviews and counseling sessions, but also to help them walk through medical appointments and court proceedings, and just to be a helping hand to help guide our victims through a very traumatizing and troubling time.
You can find that whole conversation on our website, WZMQ19.com. When we come back, Tom gives a final look at our temperatures for tomorrow. We're back in 2 minutes.
19 News is brought to you by Kirkish Furniture. Here's your WZMQ CBS This Is Home Community Calendar.
I thought it was just a rash, but it had a bullseye ring around it.
My doctor said it was a tick bite. Luckily, we caught it early.
Ticks found in tall grass around your home can spread Lyme disease and other illnesses, which can lead to chronic health issues. The CDC estimates nearly 500,000 people across the country are diagnosed with Lyme disease each year.
I didn't understand why my brother was having so many asthma flare-ups. Sometimes he couldn't breathe. Turns out a roach problem at home was triggering it.
Allergens left behind by dust mites, roaches, and rodents are a major driver of asthma attacks, especially in children.
When I had a fever, body aches, and fatigue, I never thought it would have been West Nile virus. All it took was a mosquito bite while gardening.
Mosquitoes spread West Nile virus and many other diseases, and they can breed in standing water around your home. Protect your family from pests. Get the facts at pestworld.org.
Direct.
Don't you ever look up at the sky and roll your eyes. You hear me?
Yes.
Realistic.
I will maybe have a tendency to spend too much and won't be able to pay your rent.
He holds the line.
I resent it, and I resent you for doing it.
Mathis Court is in session.
Weekdays on WZMQ CBS. Escanaba reporter Lily Simmons on WZMQ 19 News.
Futurecast hanging in the clouds tough here for the balance of tonight, and most of tomorrow will be pretty much on the cloudy side. Couple breaks, you saw them real quick there in the afternoon, and might squeeze out a couple of drops Thursday late in the day, maybe around the supper hour, a few drops away from Marquette here, and then a couple of flakes on Friday morning. But the sun does start to peek out for Friday afternoon. That's good news, setting us up for some fairly decent weather as we head toward the upcoming weekend. So high temperatures for tomorrow in the lower to mid 40s, and the rest of the forecast, we're looking at decent weather on Friday, becoming partly sunny after some morning clouds, mid 40s. Saturday, mid 50s, and into the upper 40s as we head towards Sunday. Just a small chance of some showers, a few drops on Monday. Cool hit for Tuesday, back into the 40s as we head toward Wednesday.
Thanks, Tom. That'll do it for us tonight here at WZMQ 19 News. Have a great night.